Good afternoon. This is Storm Castle from Storm Castle's Comics and Collectibles. Today I want to talk about the comic book that started me in the hobby of actually collecting comics. Now, I've been collecting comics since the 80s. Before, we would have bags of comics that we would take on trips. They were like Gold Key Star Trek stuff, Magnus Robot Fighter, Solar, some Batman books, Superman books, whatever my mom would find. She'd buy the multi-packs, open them up, and we'd have these comics, and we'd go on family trips, and we'd break out the bags reading. But eventually, one day I walked in this place called Dairy Mart, which no longer exists at this point. I rode my bike up to the store, and I saw this. This is Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man number 85. It's got the Hobgoblin on the cover. I didn't know who this was. I knew Spider-Man from the cartoons, from comic books, from the, I was aware of him, and I'd never. And while I was grabbing myself snacks, it was, came out in cover date is December of 83. So that would probably be, say, 3 months earlier. That's September, October. So I was there. I rode the store on the bike. I was getting myself an icy and something to chew on. And I saw this comic, and I was like, well, not this particular issue. This is a copy of it. I wish I still had my original book. But I saw this cover, and I saw this character, and I didn't know who it was. I was like, well, it looks like the Green Goblin. I remember him from the cartoons and everything. And I picked it up, and the story by Bill Mantlo, Al Milgrom, and John Mahoney are the artists. I was utterly enthralled with this character. This new villain that shows up, and you see him show up, powers, and all the things going on. It just entranced me, and so most of the time comics were just things that I read while I was in the car. We were going on a trip or someplace, go to Disney or wherever, or to visit family in other states. But this made me look at it more of it as a what's going to happen kind of thing. Who is this Black Cat character? Why does this Hobgoblin? Why does Hobgoblin not like Spider-Man? What's going on? And I had to know more. Spider-Man, of course, see an ad here. It was on TV, you saw it, and more, it became of wanting to know more. So I rode my bike back up there, and next day picked up a couple more comics, and more. Got Avengers, which is my favorite team, and I've just, from that point onward, I had to know. But this was the book that, the Hobgoblin is my favorite villain. I have this nice statue my kids got me. I'm trying to hunt down a copy of ASM, Amazing Spider-Man number 238, to get a copy of the actual first appearance of the Hobgoblin. But over and over again, this is Editor's Month's coming. It made me want to know more, and read more, and enjoy more. And this is the book that inspired me to start collecting seriously. Instead of just taking the book and throwing them in the bag, I got the book, I put them in a nice stack. I had a little box by my desk, and I would get more and more books and try more and more comics. And over the years, I've had grown my collection, sold my collection, moved many times, and whenever you move, you usually just pare down things. My wife and I moved all across the country, carrying tons of comic boxes. But whenever I get back in, this is one of the first books I hunt down, and I need a much better copy. I mean, this is so you can see it's stained. I actually want to see if I can find a really like to find it and get it signed. Get it slabbed. But this brings me back to that memory when I was 13 on my bike at the convenience store, and just getting a snack and then seeing something that utterly transfixed me for the next 40 years or so, as my wife can attest. I've spent more. She has patiently waited more in comic stores for me over the years, while I pick through boxes and look and look and look. It's a fun hobby, and once in a while, everybody's got that book that, for some issue, drew them in. The cover that's inspired them and brings them all back. And I just wanted to talk about that. This is my inspiration for collecting, and I'm going to probably ideally be collecting for many, many years, and rebuilding a collection and finding new things to add into my collection I did not have before. But that's a different video. Anyways, this is Stormcast from Stormcastle's Comics Collectibles, and want to share mine. Why don't you tell me in the comments whatever inspired you? I would like to hear your book that got you into collecting. Thank you, and have a nice day.